Fight doesn't always look like physically running away. Sometimes it looks like answering emails while you're eating, starting a new project before finishing the one in front of you, saying yes when your schedule is already full, or spending 3 hours researching instead of having a 10-minute conversation you're trying to avoid. From the outside, it can look like ambition, but inside, it can feel like you're not allowed to stop. Welcome to episode 3 of Who Are You Under Pressure? I'm Lisa Adams, a trauma informed life and behavioral coach, the founder of The Regulated Leader. And in the last episode, we explored fight, the part of you that pushes back, takes control, or prepares you to defend. Today, we're going to look at flight, or what I call the identity of the one who's always moving. And we'll explore what flight looks like, what it feels like in the body, and what all the movement may be helping you avoid. And one breathing tool that can help you slow the urgency. Flight is a protective response that prepares you to move away from a perceived threat. Sometimes that means physically leaving the situation. But in everyday life, flight can be much less obvious. You may escape into your work, planning, research, exercise, scrolling, learning, or taking care of everyone else. You may be running away from your life. You may be running away from the discomfort you feel when you become still. When staying busy has been rewarded for years, it becomes a part of your identity. You become known as the productive one, the reliable one, the person who can manage more than everyone else. You may even feel proud when someone says, I don't know how you do it all. But privately, you might not know how you stop doing it at all. Slowing down can leave you feeling restless, guilty, anxious, or unsure of who you are when you aren't accomplishing something. At that point, productivity is no longer something you do. It has become one of the ways you try to feel safe, valuable, and in control. Flight can look like filling every open space in your calendar. It can look like agreeing to another commitment before checking whether you have the capacity for it. It can look like switching tasks when everyone becomes uncomfortable. And you might even open up your email when you're supposed to be writing. You reorganize your workspace when you need to make a decision. Maybe create an offer when sales feel uncertain. Take another course when it's time to use what you already know. And none of these activities is automatically a flight response. The question is, what function of activity is serving in that moment? Is it helping you move something meaningfully forward, or is it helping you move away from something that's uncomfortable? And avoidance doesn't always look like doing nothing. Sometimes it looks like doing everything except the one thing that matters. You answer messages, you update your website, you change the colors, you organize your files, you research 5 more things, and at the end of the day, you've been busy for hours. But the conversation, the decision, the boundaries, or the visible action is still waiting. And this is why the flight pattern can be really difficult to recognize. It produces evidence. You can point to everything that you've accomplished, but productivity and progress aren't always the same thing. So flight can also appear as overcommitting. You say yes really quickly because new opportunity creates a burst of energy and it gives somewhere to direct that activation that you're feeling. But once that initial energy wears off, you are now trying to fit in another responsibility in a schedule that's already full. Then you rush, you work later, you skip recovery, and you promise that you'll rest when everything is finished. But everything is never completely finished. There is always another task available when stopping feels uncomfortable. So, when flight is active, staying with one task can feel surprisingly difficult. Your attention keeps searching for that movement. You start writing a post, you remember an email, you check a notification, you open another tab, and suddenly you're researching an idea that you didn't have 10 minutes ago. It may feel as though you're following your energy, but sometimes you're leaving the task at the exact moment it begins to feel uncertain, vulnerable, boring, or difficult. And movement creates temporary relief. Unfortunately, the unfinished task is still waiting when your relief wears off. Flight often feels like energy with no place to settle. Your thoughts may race, your breathing may become quick and shallow, and your heart may feel as though it's working harder. Your legs might bounce, your hands may stay busy, or you may be constantly reaching for your phone. You may feel pressure in your chest, butterflies in your stomach, or a sense that you're already behind. Even when you sit down, part of you remains prepared to move. You're physically present, but intentionally, you're already rushing towards the next thing. And flight can make anxiety feel like ambition. It says, I just have big goals. I'm someone who likes to stay productive. I work best under pressure. I'll slow down once I reach my next milestone. Ambition itself isn't the problem. Grounded ambition can be focused, patient, and willing to recover. Flight driven ambition feels urgent. It struggles to pause, celebrate, or stay with one direction for a long enough time to see whether it's going to work. One is movement towards something meaningful, the other may be movement away from feelings you don't want to experience. Now, the flight pattern may be protecting you from uncertainty, from the possibility of failure, from criticism, rejection, disappointment, and even visibility. It may protect you from a difficult emotion that appears when things become quiet. Sometimes staying busy prevent you from noticing how tired, lonely, uncertain, overwhelmed you actually feel. Instead of asking, why can't I slow down? Try asking, what might I notice if I stop moving? The answer isn't always dramatic. It might be a simple one. I would notice that I don't know what to do next. Busyness can feel easier than sitting with that uncertainty. You may become exhausted, but unable to rest. You may finish the day with dozens of completed tasks, but no progress on what really matters most. You may make commitments from an activated state and resent them later. You may also lose your ability to recognize satisfaction because your attention has already moved to the next goal. The flight pattern promises relief through movement, but when movement never ends, your body never receives the message that it's allowed to arrive. So, when your body is preparing to move, telling yourself to calm down may not help. Instead, you can use a breathing to gently signal that you don't need to keep accelerating. The tool we're going to use today is an extended exhale. You'll breathe in naturally, allow the exhale to be slightly longer than the inhale. And this is not about taking the biggest breath possible. It's about making the exhale slow, comfortable, and unforced. If focusing on your breathing feels uncomfortable or you begin to feel lightheaded, then just return to your normal breathing. So now we're going to put the guided exhale into practice. If it's comfortable, place your feet on the floor, let your shoulders drop without forcing them, and then breathe in gently through your nose for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now exhale slowly for a count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And breathe in again gently for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now let's do that one more time. In for 4, out for 6. Now allow your breathing to return to the natural rhythm. Notice whether anything shifted. Maybe your shoulders softened. Maybe your thoughts slowed slightly. Maybe nothing has changed. You are not trying to create the perfect calm. You're creating a small interruption in the rush. So after the exhale, ask yourself, what am I moving towards right now? Then ask, what might be I moving away from? Look at the task in front of you and consider, is this next meaningful step, or is it an uncomfortable task helping me avoid the real one? You don't need to complete the entire project. Just choose one small action that creates genuine movement. Send the message, make the decision, finish one section, hold the boundary, or take the rest your body has been asking for. Sometimes the most productive next step is to stop adding more. So imagine you need to have a conversation about pricing with a potential client. And instead of sending that message, you're updating your payment page, you research what other people are charging, then you rewrite your offer, and then you decide your branding might need to be changed first. You have been working, but the original conversation still hasn't happened. Pause and use those 3 extended exhales and then ask, what am I moving away from? You may recognize that you are not confused about your price. You're uncomfortable at being seen asking for it. Your one meaningful action could be sending a simple message. Here's my price, here's what's included, and let me know if you have any questions. That is progress without creating 5 more tasks to feel ready. And this week, notice one moment. When you feel compelled to rush, switch the task, add another commitment, or keep working past your capacity. Pause and take 3 comfortable breaths with slightly longer exhales. And then ask, am I moving towards what matters or away from what feels uncomfortable? You don't need to stop being ambitious. You're learning to recognize when that ambition is leading you and when anxiety has taken over the schedule. In the next episode, we're exploring freeze, the identity of the one who disappears. Freeze can look like procrastination, indecision, scrolling, going blank, or watching yourself avoid something you genuinely want to do. We'll explore why shutting down isn't the same as laziness and one practical way to help yourself reconnect with the present. And before you go, tell me in the comments, where does flight show up most often for you? Is it busyness, overcommitting, researching, switching tasks, or struggling to rest? One word is enough. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode of Who You Are Under Pressure. And if you aren't ready to explore these patterns with support, or if you are ready to explore these patterns with support, you can come join us at the Regulated Leader. The link is in the description below. And remember, being capable of carrying more doesn't mean you have to be adding weight. You're allowed to move with intention, not urgency.